Ibn Arabi, the greatest sheikh. All of us have, at some point in our lives, pondered this question. Why do I exist? What is the purpose of my creation and my presence in this world? This question often arises in everyone's mind, and due to the difficulty of finding an easy answer, many of us eventually give up searching for it, and amidst the chaos of life, forget about it. However, you clicked on this video, so I assume you are seeking an answer. I was also a seeker of this truth, and my quest found resolution when I read Ibn Arabi, a great figure in history, who has profoundly revealed the greatest secrets of the universe in his writings. What are we? According to Ibn Arabi, existence is illusory. It is not something in itself but a reflection of a more complete, real, higher reality. That reality is God. God is the only real entity, and we are merely his reflection. Ibn Arabi says the world is illusory, it has no real existence. This is what is meant by imagination. You have been made to imagine that the world is something separate and independently real, outside of the absolute. But in reality, this is not so. So we are not a separate thing from God. To make it easy, we are just like a shadow is to an object. The shadow itself is not God, and it does not have existence without the object. It is God that exists in reality. Ibn Arabi also says, we say no that one calls other than real, and which is referred to as the world is, in relation to the real, as a shadow is to an object. It is the shadow of God. It is in just this way that existence is attributed to the world. For without doubt the shadow is existent in the sensory domain, though only when there is something wherein the shadow is manifest. As the Quran says, everywhere you turn is the face of God. This means God is everything and everywhere. So if everything is God, what are we? We are definitely not God, but we are nothing but formed through God. For example, God is like white light, and when it passes through a prism, it creates a multitude of colors. The creation represents these colors. The colors themselves are never the same as the white light, just as creatures are not the same as God. The colors are made through the white light, so everything has that white light, and everything is made up of that white light and nothing else. A famous quote of Ibn Arabi, he is all of being, and he is the one in whose being my being resides. Why were we created? Now that we know we are the reflection of God, why did God create this reflection? To provide an answer to this question, I will quote the exact words of Ibn Arabi, as I am concerned I might misrepresent this complex concept, which is only understood through the intellect. Ibn Arabi says, he wanted to see himself and manifest himself to himself. Allah, glory be to him, willed that the source of his most beautiful names be seen. For how a thing sees itself through itself is not the same as how it sees itself in something else, which acts as a mirror for it. All the divine names contained in this divine form appear in this human organism. The angels do not possess the universality of Adam, and they did not understand the divine names with which he has been favored and by which he praises Allah and proclaims his purity. They only know that Allah had names whose knowledge had not reached them, so they could not praise him nor proclaim his purity through them. Adam was in possession of divine names which the angels did not have, so that their praise and glorification of him was not the same as Adam's praise and glorification of him. Bonus insight. These concepts are complex and can spin your head. Shams Tabrizi taught us that it is difficult to reach God by understanding him alone. Therefore, God created principles and worship practices. By simply adhering to these practices, we can also reach God without having to grapple with these complex ideas.